entertainment, current events, and Hollywood. Don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys. Welcome to Creators to Creators today. Today we have a very special guest.
Emily Belkoff of the band Aura of Embers.
That's awesome. Welcome, welcome.
It's so good to be here with you, Meosha. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I always say I love going back to the beginning. The beginning, kind of basically it charts our trajectory in life, little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. So tell me about little, baby Emily and what,
Baby Emily.
yeah, the things that you got into and how you got into music, what was life like for you and like when did you, I guess, get catch the bug for music?
For music, that's a great question. Um, Honestly, it started with hearing some pop punk songs. I was about 15 years old and I heard this really beautiful kind of pop punk piano-led song. It's called Constantine by the pop punk band Something Corporate. And I heard it and I was like, this is insane. I want to learn this. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that kind of like made me realize that there was kind of this ability to blend like pop punk, which is by the way what I grew up with, right? So I was a
Yeah.
90s kid and I grew up in the, early 2000s, mid 2000s. And so, my friends and I were all into Fall Out Boy and All Time Low, Something Corporate and all of these kind of bands that kind of made the pop punk scene what it is. And of course, Blink 182. And then from there, I got, I was really into that, as were, a lot of my friends. But I heard this, I'd always been really interested in the piano. And I
Hmm.
heard this composition, like this song by Something Corporate. And it made me realize like you can blend both. You don't, you don't, so you don't have to be one or the other. You can kind of blend both of them. You can blend the keyboard, you can blend pop punk. And that's when I was like, okay, I feel super inspired to teach
Yeah.
myself how to learn piano, and we're in a world now, Miosha, where we can do that. Like we can go online and like, I was very fortunate at that age to have YouTube and everything. And I taught
Yeah.
myself how to play the song, and that kind of got me really comfortable with chord progressions and expression on the keyboard. And that led me down, I think, a profound, uh, kind of, in my opinion, destined rabbit hole in a way, because one of the defining characteristics of my sound is the synthesizer. So,
Hmm.
vintage synthesizers, and so kind of in the electronic realm. So that's kind of how I got started, was kind of the pop punk influences were huge, when I was growing up. So that was definitely something that was hugely influential for me. And then just kind of
That's
taking it from
awesome.
there and making it my own. Yeah. Thank you. What a
That's
great
beautiful.
Miosha, we just went back. We just went back in time, baby. Like, whoa.
I love it. I love that. And you said it so beautifully. I'm like, oh man, it sounds so cool. I just like just how like, knowing what you wanted to do and executing it, I say is always like just, I just think that's a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
They just like kind of they sit on their talents and their goals and dreams and they're not sure how to execute it, but you made it happen. But what I love about this is that, you know, Aura of Embers
Yeah.
is the musical project of a producer, singer-songwriter, and visual artist. Emily,
Yeah.
that's you. You've done all of
Yeah,
it.
that's me.
Like the fact
Hello.
that you did all of that is exceptional.
Oh, thank
Was there
you.
any fear going into doing all, like wearing so many hats, or is that something that you're used to doing as an artist?
I think that what happened, so interestingly enough, this has been like the a very long process for me in a good way, because it's for me it's been a journey, and I think and I'm sure you could understand this. You have to be in it for the right reasons, right? You have to really love it. You have to really be in love with the craft.
Hmm.
And so growing up, I remember taking my first music it was actually called computer music class in 2011. And that's actually when I started producing. And it wasn't
Mm.
until last year that I released my first fully produced song under Aura of Embers. So just to give you that
Wow.
idea, right, like 2011. And so like what was going on, right? And I think as an artist, you kind of go through these stages of almost, like understanding and discovering your own identity. Um,
Yes,
for
yes.
me, that was so long. That was a long process. It was winding, and I had at that point I kind of had hundreds of songs to kind of pull from, or ideas certainly. But you learn, and it actually, it's funny. So it wasn't until I was interning at a studio in Philadelphia, which is where I
Hmm.
grew up. I was interning there, and it was roughly like 2013, 2014. And I'm an intern and an assistant engineer there, and I'm breaking down a drum kit from one of the sessions we had with another engineer. And he's
Nice.
playing, wait, right? Not bad, right?
I
Just
love
breaking
it.
down the drum kit. Yeah, but
I could see it. I could see it.
right? That's kind of like it's funny when you go back to these moments. So I'm breaking it down with the other engineer, and he has his YouTube playlist on. And he's into electronic music and everything. And I hear this song and this sound I've never ever heard before. And it was absolutely gorgeous. It was like glistening electronic music production, but with a heart. Like you can hear the
Mm.
emotion in it. And I was like, who the heck is this? And I ran from the big room into the control room to see who this person was who was on YouTube. And it's an artist named Tycho. And he's this absolutely incredible electronic music producer and artist. So he's based in California and San Francisco, and he's been at this for decades. And he was the first
Wow.
influence for me electronically, that really helped kind of shape, my understanding of what my own identity was. And so, in my opinion, he was a significant trailblazer in the electronic music community. And he's actually, when he was making his first albums, not until very recently, all instrumental, Meosha, all instrumental, synthesizers and drums and bass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, if someone was like, well, what were you doing, Emily? From 2011 onward, like, what were you doing? And what I would say to them is, I had to build my identity
Yeah.
as an instrumental artist to understand, okay, who am I? What do I want to be known for? What is like the best and most accurate reflection of like my soul through music? And I needed to go through that. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah. And I just love how you worded all that. I mean, it's just it is that you have to find, your voice technically,
Exactly.
basically,
That's exactly it. Exactly. Um, and speaking of voice, the words, right, and the vocals. So I spent a lot of time understanding what I wanted my songs like. I spent a lot of time reflecting on the world that I wanted
Yeah.
my vocals to reside in and live in the atmosphere when we're listening to Aura of Embers. So what
Mm.
because I didn't want my voice to be the defining characteristic. I wanted it to inhabit a world because when you listen to the music, when I listen to the music, what my favorite artists have done for me growing up has been
Hmm.
creating that world that can reflect back to us our own journeys, our own healing, our own awakenings, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's what I wanted to do as well. And I wanted to be able to do it in a way that was most true to me. And so the vocals came to me, as I really started to nail down the instrumental production, really understanding what those compositions were going to be, and how do
Hmm.
we do that, right? How do we merge electronic production, foundation with pop punk vocals? Because I naturally was inclined to sing it in a way that kind of had those raw vocals that were very symbolic and reflective of kind of the pop punk scene that I was
Mm-hmm.
immersed in growing up because it was the most true to me. It was the most true kind of representation of kind of the feelings and I thought that that was kind of the most in my opinion, I thought that that was going to be the most accurate way of kind of identifying, certainly with this period of my sound,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because I was going to ask you, I was going to say, like, what, what does it, you know, Aura of Embers, like how it came to you, what does it symbolize in your life?
Right. So I love that question. So the song name actually came to me very, very early on. Actually, I
Okay.
remember in 2015. So I was still in college
Wow.
at the time. Yeah. And it came to me. And it was a very like kind of clear, you know, understanding of, okay, this is gonna be the name of the band of my sonic identity, to the
Yeah.
world. And I think a part of that was the fact that for me, and I think we all go through tests and trials,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a part of being human. And we all kind of have our own unique journeys. And for me, just a lot of, going through a lot of different things, having to do with loss and, loss of
Yeah.
identity and understanding, what am I doing here, right? And for me, I knew that like the phoenix, like like there's a mythology of the phoenix, right? So that's a
Mm-hmm.
myth animal and it symbolizes you know like being reborn and rising from the ashes, so having parts of your identity that no longer fit or that
Mm.
you've done away with or the world has forced
Yeah.
you to drop, right? um and I think when you're transitioning out of college and stuff, a lot of times there's this kind of understanding of like, I was not who I was then. So
Mm-hmm.
I am this other person, this new person. And so I think for me, it was about kind of taking the trials that I experienced and being able to kind of look at it through the lens of kind of the transformative power of rebirth,
Oh, I
So
like that. I like that a lot.
yeah, thank you. So it's like I think it's that transformative power of rebirth. And that's the mythology of the
Mhm.
phoenix. It's like, to reach your full potential in life, I really believe that there are parts of us that have to kind of die so that we
Yes.
so that we can reach our full potential, so that we can move through things differently and learn about ourselves what we're truly
Yes.
able to handle. So that's kind
Oh
of
my
where it comes
gosh.
from. Yeah, I know.
This is so good. Like this is so
Thank
timely.
you.
This literally,
Oh,
like
really?
it's just so like because I really feel like I'm in that stage right now in life.
Oh,
Um, and you're right. Certain things have to die. Certain things cannot remain with you if you
yep,
transcend to the next, uh,
exactly.
higher self of
I love
consciousness
that.
because it's important because if you don't then there's no growth, there's no
There's none.
understanding of this. Yeah, so I
Exactly.
love that.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that resonates with you. That's exact, but that is it. And it's actually it's really helped me. Like,
Yeah.
understanding, okay, this thing I thought fit into my life or that defined me, like, no, it's not
Hmm.
meant to be there anymore. Now it served a wonderful purpose at the time.
Yeah.
But this is who I am now, and this is who I'm developing into. And in order to kind of gain or unlock that new part of our identity, we have to move through, those trials, I guess, you know?
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
What inspired the concept behind your latest single, One Soul? I really like
Yeah.
the title as well. It's really nice.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. So for me, I felt very inspired directly by, you know, this idea of kind of emotional expansiveness and like journeys that I've
Mm,
had in my life. And
hmm.
a lot of that has been through connections with other people, right? And
Yeah.
and with,
Yeah.
some, and it's not even necessarily a specific person. Now, I do think, obviously, I mean, Meosha, who doesn't have a muse? You know what I mean?
Right.
So of course, but beyond that, I thought it was really a song that paid homage to the concept of enduring like these connections
Mhm.
that feel like they've been there almost long before we've met someone.
Mm, hmm.
It's almost like that connection was instantaneous, and it just feels like, I don't know, was there another world where I knew them or a past life or
Right.
whatever it is, right? And
Hmm.
they're not easy to be, they're not easily definable. And so the concept of like one soul kind of explores this kind of otherworldliness of those connections. Um, and I wanted to just try and give voice to feelings that I think, I mean, from some of the people who I've spoken to, other people can relate to that, you know? So I thought that that was a really good kind of segue into a song, and it was very clear to me. You know how inspiration strikes, and
Yes.
it was very, very clear to me that the chorus of the song was so clear and it wanted to be, and we'll talk about that, but like these songs in a lot of I might be the channel for it, but they have an
Hmm.
identity of their own. Like they know what they want. I'm just here. I'm just serving the song. I really feel that way. Like I'm just like, okay, so you want this? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like that's how it
Yes.
feels. And it really wanted that concept of like one soul to be
Yeah.
very prominent, very prominent. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You said nostalgia plays a role in your music. What kind of memories or feelings do you like to tap into?
That's a great question. I would say with nostalgia, I mean, it's a lot of it honestly goes back to, being a kid and,
Oh.
I remember like listening. It's, we all have our emo eras. I remember being on that plane, and we had CDs at the time, okay? CD players. Okay, so if you go over a bump, there's a big gap and then it goes back to playing, right? Like and so I remember just like playing through, Blink 182's entire album. And, at that time, you kind of listened to albums holistically because you had your little holder with all your CDs and stuff. And I just remember,
Yes.
do you remember it? So you really, you had an opportunity to really absorb the identity of the bands you were listening to in a really kind of different way than I think we do now, unless you are listening holistically to the album. But at that point, it was kind of like a given. And so for
Hmm.
me, a lot of it comes from, you know, the influences as a kid. I think, learning the piano and, going to college, learning how to make music in this one course and then kind of taking it from there and being able to integrate that into the overall identity of Aura of Embers has been, for me, I think one of the defining qualities. So being able to look at this and say, there is something interesting here. So one of the things, and I talked to my mix engineer who's fantastic. His name is Eric, and and we've gone over this because you want to be able to be defined within a genre, but
Hmm.
also kind of be genre defying in a way, right? Because you want
Yes.
people to be able to be like, oh, okay, so if I like Blink 182 and if I like this other if I like Paramore, would I like what so you want to be able to be relevant so that people understand where to place you.
Hmm.
But these influences for me, Tycho or Boards of Canada, which is another electronic music artist, and then you go back to Blink 182, and then Angels and Airwaves, which is another electronic band, actually the same frontman, the same vocalist from Blink 182. So what I did was I blended, right? So I knew that the world I wanted us to live in with Aura of Embers was electronic. I knew that. I was
I
like,
love
this,
that.
it needs to be that. And I knew it needed to have, though, defining qualities of kind of with the drums, I liked some of the post rock kind of active drums, and I still like electronic drums, but I wanted there to be a blend, like a hybrid. And then I knew the
Yeah.
pop punk vocals too. So it's like so I was talking to my mix engineer, and he said, if he was looking at this and we were looking at it, it's kind of you have the electronic production. I sing it in kind of a pop punk way, and then
Hmm.
it definitely has pop elements to it too. But it's deeply inspired by like multiple genres, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
So I have a question, and
Gosh,
I
yeah.
love asking this question, and I promise there's no wrong answer.
Did you promise?
But I promise. The three levels of influence: money, power, or respect. If you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Respect, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
I just for sure. I mean, right? So the money. I'm sorry, but you're not getting into this and being and doing this for years and years. There's just no way. Like that
Yeah.
can't be. I can't see someone sustaining a career or a long-term career in music and starting out and being like, no, no, no. Like it's money. Like there's just and maybe some people can and more power to you, but that just for me that I mean, think about it, right? Like I went, I think almost a decade without releasing anything like officially, right? So
Oh,
it's not
wow.
like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't, right? Starting in 2011, I didn't need eyes on me in order to develop the sound. I didn't need to
Right.
post about it. I didn't need that because I was developing the identity. And it's very, how when you're an artist, it's a very intimate process of you
Yeah.
becoming more you and understanding what's that like? What's that journey like? How can I, and also, so it was money, right? You said money and then power, you said,
Yes.
and then respect. Okay. See, I think the power is in the respect, 1,000%,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
1,000%, without a doubt, because it's like power to me is so one note. It's so like I think power's a wonderful thing when it's wielded, I think properly.
Right.
And I think it's not abused. But I think when you build that respect, especially in this industry, it showcases that you are able to be collaborative. You're
Hmm.
able to create from a place of truth. And when I ask like what is it that I want, I really do genuinely want to be of service in a way that my earliest influences were so helpful in helping me cope through my life like when I was younger,
Mm.
you know like so the idea of the songs being a lifeline for someone or being able to revisit it and be like thank God somebody like can understand this and
Yeah.
be able to really, have like almost have a communion with it. And
Hmm.
so that's a huge influence for me. And, the thing that goes along with that is I think the desire, any power would be secondary in the sense that when I look at the idea of power, is it allowing me to share my voice and help more people to be at a higher
Mm,
level? So when you look at it
that's
from that
beautiful.
perspective, do you know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm happy to do that. But and I really believe, Miosha, when you're doing things for the right reasons, things work out in the right way. And it might take a
Absolutely.
while, but that's okay because you got to do this for the right reasons, though. I really believe that.
Yeah. I love that. Yes, it's so true. It does take time,
Yeah. Oh my God,
when
right?
you do it the right way. Because I always tell people like, it looks glamorous when, because we put our best photos forward on
Yep.
social media, but the behind the scenes, the up late nights, the
Yeah.
creative process is very grueling hours. But
Yes.
when you love what you do, right, it's not work. So
Yeah, I agree. And man, when you just said that, I mean, I'm having flashbacks right now. No, but like really, I mean, without a doubt, and I think a lot of artists would agree. I mean, the most stressful uh, part of the journey is they're going to be those releases, right? And the
yeah,
time
yeah,
period, leading up to those releases where, I can only wear so many heads or hats on my head
yeah,
before,
yeah.
they fall off of my head. And it's like, so I think leading up, that's a really strong point there. So I
How
appreciate
how
you.
do
Thank
you
you. Yes.
how do you balance it though? How do you balance all of this? And life, because life
Yeah.
is always lifing for everyone. But how do you find the balance and what do you do to, you know,
I
keep it all going?
force myself to pull myself away from the computer, and because there are a ton of things that you're doing,
Yeah,
when you're leading up to a release, you know, and also by the way, outsourcing, right? So if you could have someone else help you. So for example, I'm
yeah,
very lucky. I connected with this incredibly talented film company over in New York, and they have been absolutely, I mean, mind-blowingly just powerful in terms of how they have helped kind of define and
nice,
collaborate on everything, you know, so far. So like my first single, I collaborated with them. My second single, so we have a beautiful music video that definitely meets
nice.
the song's arc. Yeah. And so, for example, for that was outsourcing, right? Because that just
Hmm.
helped create some clips to share online and on social media. And the other thing would be, balancing it, getting outside, it's like going on walks, working out, getting my energy out that way. And like, honestly, seeing family and friends is incredibly grounding for me. Very. Just,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
um,
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone out there that's trying to uh that's in this industry that is up and down, but really has the love for it, but just not quite sure how to, you know, what to do.
I literally have three words that are blasting out of me that I need to tell you. And that is don't rush it. Don't
Mm,
rush. You can't, like, if you rush it, you jeopardize everything, right? Because it's not only about the idea of okay, I can make these connections. It's actually about you. It's about,
yeah,
is my song and my sound full, is it matured enough to truly reflect who I am as an artist? That's the question. And so, what I would say is don't rush it. Have so much self-love for yourself that you're enjoying the process of becoming.
Yeah. Oh, can you say that again? Have so
Yes,
much love for yourself.
that you actually enjoy the process of becoming. That's where it's at, man,
That's
because
good.
you have to, because it's I promise you, the right doors open when you are doing the next right thing for your artistry, for yourself, and through that for others. I really believe that. 'Cause
Mm.
as soon as you said that, Miosha, I was like, this thing overcame me. It was like, don't rush it. Coming from Emily, who, has been doing this, since 2011, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I feel that I have to learn. But when you have that much self-love, and
Mm.
self-respect, honestly, you sit back and you say, what can I take from this? What can I take from this one session where I didn't feel like things came together? Why is this song, why do I feel like I have 10 different, false starts thinking, oh, this will be the one, this will be the song that I share with the world, the first one. And you
Yeah.
just have so much self-love for yourself that you're like, this is a part of the process. And knowing, and by the way, it's not just self-love, it's actually like trust in yourself,
Mm.
just in the process.
Hmm.
You belong, the universe, your higher power, trust that it will all shake out the way it's meant to.
Oh, that's so good.
Thank you.
Ah, that's so good. It's true. It's so true. You really have to trust and, process and yourself, and knowing that, like you said, in becoming the person that you're trying to be or better yourself, you're gonna have to do some things that are a little uncomfortable, but it's definitely worth getting to the other side because it's like, okay, everything's worth it. Like I feel like that's what I feel like I'm taking away from this
Yeah.
chat, talking to you. I
Yeah.
feel like it's just staying on that path, staying on the journey of becoming. And I
Yes.
think we're all in process, right? If you want to get better, right? I think it's a continuation. So we're learning always until we're dead.
I couldn't
But
agree more with you. Absolutely. That's exactly how I feel about it as well.
I love that. Where can people find you on social media to follow everything you got going on and to support? And again,
Absolutely.
congratulations.
Thank you so
Very
much.
exciting project.
Yeah, I'm so excited to just, keep moving forward. And my favorite is when somebody, just even one person, it's just like, messages, which has been honestly the most rewarding thing ever, is just hearing from single people who message me, or, I see in person, visiting back home, and they've listened to it and just saying, this has been on my playlist, and I can't stop listening to it. I just love it so much, and it makes me feel really good and really comforted, you know? And
Yeah.
so they can find me. I've made it pretty easy. It's just the band. I've tried my best, so it's the band name. It's Aura of Embers. So and then that's also, they can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, believe Twitter even. But I'm just so grateful, Miosha, for the interview, and you're wonderful. Thank you. Please just never stop doing this. You're
Aw.
you're so phenomenal at this. So I'm just so grateful for your support and for bringing me on today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for just sharing your journey and just all this knowledge. I'm listening. I really enjoy conversations because I
I
always apply these lessons and just, some of the parts of to my life. I'm just kind of like, yeah. So I really feel like you just literally confirmed and spoken to my life. So I really appreciate this. Thank you very, very much.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, the best thing about doing this is like hearing from you, just like the back and forth is just so helpful, because it's like, you're guiding me in terms
Yeah.
of what we can talk about. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you all for listening. And always remember, to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.